I remember hearing my father say those words and wondering if he was joking, speaking to someone else perhaps, or losing his mind. Because being given to an older man meant I could no longer be a girl, no longer a child to my mother and my father. Where would we live? And why me? Why not my sisters? And I knew they were younger than me, but still, why me? Why not someone else? Why not another girl from the village? I didn't want to go with that man. I didn't know him. I did not know what to expect. I knew I did not go to school, and there wasn't much hope for me, at least. But I wanted to play. I wanted to be with my friends, with my siblings. Most of all, I wanted to stay with my mother. She was kind, thoughtful, and charismatic. She took pride in us. Walking beside her made me feel special. I was small next to her, but when we went to the market, I could see how people loved her. Her voice, her energy, her generosity. She drew people in without trying. My father, on the other hand, didn't like that. But it was natural. She was that woman, that girl even. And yet, there I was, pulled out of that world, trying to piece together what my life would look like, what my life would become. What frightened me most was what it meant becoming a wife and eventually a mother to this man's children. I didn't know his exact age, but I knew he was old. He looked too much like my father. When my thoughts finally settled, I looked at my father and said, I don't want to go. I don't want to live with him. I want to stay home. He looked at me harshly. I've already accepted the dowry, he said. I paid all my debts with the cows Kivali brought. This man will take good care of you, Nkemwa. He works in the mines in Zambia. That's where you'll be going. I had heard of Zambia. People spoke of Lusaka, the city, the opportunities, the white men, a better life than the village. For a moment, that thought sparked something small in me, a flicker of curiosity. I had one night to prepare. That evening, while my father and Kibale went out drinking, my mother Laini sat me down. She began preparing me for a life I didn't understand, marriage. She had never spoken to me about these things before. It all felt strange, unfamiliar, confusing. I couldn't piece it together. Eventually, she said quietly, You will learn. Slowly, my child. But one thing I know, never cook late. Men hate waiting for food after they've been drinking. I remember those words to this day because to her they mattered. They would to me too. That night felt endless. My mind raced with fear and questions. I was terrified. I couldn't believe I was only worth 10 cows. Was I really that worthless to my own father? And why didn't my mother have any say? Why didn't she defend me? But this was in Yakusa way. Women had no power. They did not decide. They followed. They did not own their children. Their husbands did. The next morning, I was ready to leave with Kibale. I carried a small sack holding the few clothes I owned, clothes meant for the journey and the life ahead. We left before dawn to escape the harsh, burning sun. The journey was long and unforgiving. Barefoot, we walked a full day through forests, across rivers until we reached Tukuyu, a small but busy town where transport was available to Mbeya. Uyole, uyole, uyole! Conductors shouted, competing for passengers. From Mbeya, we boarded a train to Zambia, the only one connecting Tanzania to that land I had only heard about. But at the border, something stopped me cold. The train stopped and there was an inspection. We had to submit what they called passports to cross Zambia. Confusion, fear. Voices in Swahili shouted, passport yako, passport yako, passport yako iko wapi? Shuka, shuka kwenye treni haraka sana. Where are your passports? Where are your passports? Come off the train now. I didn't even know I needed one. And what's enough, I didn't know what it was. I'd never been so afraid in my life, holding tightly my kitenge, hoping for it to comfort me this time. My mother had given it to me, so I hoped it would comfort me. Men in uniform stood around us, holding guns. I had never seen a gun before, but I knew enough to be terrified. It looked dangerous, like something that could end a life in an instant. I remember the stories people told about war, about how white men used guns to kill people like flies. In that moment, I wondered if my time had come. I was young. I didn't understand what they were saying, and fear stole my voice. I couldn't respond, even if I wanted to. Then Kibale quickly stepped in and spoke to me in Nyakyusa. Suluka, suluka, suluka ulo. Meaning, come off, get off the train now. So I did. Moments later, he walked over to the officers and spoke to them. I don't know what he said, and I didn't dare ask. Before I could make sense of it, we were back on the train, continuing the journey as if nothing had happened. The train was overcrowded. There were people everywhere. Even more climbed on the border, or even at the border. Children cried, men spoke loudly over one another, women chatted, their laughter breaking through the noise every now and then. At some point, I fell asleep, my neck and back aching from sitting for so long. When I woke up this time, I didn't speak to him. He glanced at me, offered me food, but I stayed quiet. I drifted back to sleep again. And when I woke this time, everything had changed. Light, color, people, warmth. I looked at him. He nodded, but I still didn't speak. We had arrived. I knew this certainly because people were rushing off the train, gathering their bags, their belongings, calling out their children. It was busy, overwhelmingly so. Packed, loud, chaotic. Everyone was in a hurry. Bodies pushed and shoved in every direction. Kivale gripped my arm tightly and forced his way through the crowd until we reached a small open space. He turned to me, his eyes hard on me. I wanted a wife, he said. I paid for a wife. And now we have arrived. My heart pounded, but I said nothing. Use your mouth when I speak to you, he snapped. Do you hear me? I froze. You're mine now, he continued, his voice low but firm. And you're far away from everyone you know. It's best you start treating me with respect because I am your husband. He didn't wait for an answer. Let's go, he pulled my arm. And off we went. That was part 2 of 10 Cows with Nkemwa. This story takes us through what it must have felt like to be married at a young age. Married off without choice and moving across the country to a completely new country. So Nkemwa shares her story in her own lens, her perspective, her experience, her real life experience. As we continue to share this story, you will be able to experience and understand the journey of once a girl that becomes a grandma. Thank you for listening. I'm your host, Cecilia Mwenga, and this is Hadithi Yangu podcast. Bye. Bye for now.